It is time to expand minds through movies, TV, sports, and flicks. It is time to boldly go where no podcast has gone before. It is time for the Captain Talks Flicks.
The Captain Talk Flicks.
Welcome to the Captain Talk Flicks podcast. I'm your host, Captain Cortez, aka Mr. Love, and this is where we talk flicks. And ladies and gentlemen, this week I'm going back to my most favorite franchise in the universe. And I am talking about the one and only Star Trek. And we're going to go to strange worlds again. But before we get into that, a couple things. I want to give a big shout out to Haiti. Got some plagues over Haiti this past week. Gracias, gratitude, todo. And Haiti, I heard a little bit of chaos out there. Just be very careful navigating that area over there because I've heard it's a little chaotic. You guys are all safe. Be careful. The captain is rooting for you. And additionally, this episode is brought to you by the album called Well Fed by the one and only Sun Tzu Cosmic and Renalian. They wrap up food over electronic, synthy, crazy head beats. I guarantee you've never heard anything like it in your life. So if you want to hear that album called Well Fed, check it out. I'll put it below. Now, let's go to the podcast. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the third episode of Star Trek. Star Trek is back. We're talking strange new worlds. And this time we find Captain Pike on a planet looking for some kind of flower or some kind of plant. And in that process of trying to find this plant flower, they encounter space zombies. Space zombies, bro. Just when you thought you've seen all you could see in Star Trek, all of a sudden there are space zombies. Now I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've seen space zombies in Star Trek. I believe there were some episodes of or there are movies with the Borg that they're kind of space zombies, but I believe this is the first time we have seen space zombies. I'm almost positive. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is it. So yeah, Pike and Mbenga, the Doctor, battled space zombies. Oh yeah, and that's not all. While they're on the planet battling space zombies, number one and crew in the air trying to navigate the ship and avoid Klingons. It's absolute chaos, bro. They just got done battling the Gorn. All of a sudden, there's just more to be done. It's always something going on up in space, for real. So yeah, the episode is fantastic. I highly recommend if you've not seen Strange New Worlds, check it out because it's super dope. Now, what I want to do is what I normally do and get into some specifics of the show that I liked. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and visit Dr. Mbenga. Now, over the last couple seasons, his arc has been absolutely fantastic. Because while Dr. Mbenga is currently a doctor and healer who heals people, in his past, it was quite different. In his past, he was a warrior. He's about war, bro. And in that time when he was a warrior, he did some things that, he kind of regretted and just kind of like a little lethal because he was in war, bro. He took certain actions. Now, some of those actions are coming back to get him in this episode. Now, if you've seen the show, you kind of remember that, in the past, Mbenga had basically just murked some dude. Right, he had the opportunity to murk a dude, and he murked him because this guy was a really bad man. So in this episode, because he did that, some Klingons are coming at him for a specific reason, which we'll get into shortly, to kind of avenge that or kind of deal with that. But let me go ahead and visit that. So in this particular part of his arc, which happened, I think, last season, he took an action to take off the board a very, very bad individual. A horrible individual. Now, we're talking the levels very high. Now, he had the opportunity to go ahead and murk him, and he chose to do that. Now, murking people is not cool. In the Bible says, thou shalt not kill. Like, it's facts. You should not. You shouldn't. But he made the choice to do it because he thought he was doing justice, right? Now, pondering this, if you're a man or woman of good values and morals, could you make the move that the doctor did? He chose to just take him off the game board. That's a very, very strong move to make, and it must be eating at him for years and years. I mean, I must think about myself, like, bro, could I do that? I don't even know. I mean, I've never been to war. I'm not a soldier. But I guess sometimes in war strategy, those choices have to be made. And now I'm glad it's a regular podcaster because I could not do this. It's very difficult. But he did make that choice. And now in this episode, they just kind of catched up with him. So I'm going to go ahead and catch you up to now. He chose to do that. Now, because he did that, the daughter of him is coming at him because she felt that he robbed her of the opportunity to do it herself. Because she wanted to get rid of him too. Now, because she couldn't, she felt dishonored. Now, this is a Klingon lady. Now, in the Star Trek world, going way back, Klingons are all about honor, bro. Like, honor is heavy in this world. They're a warrior class and honor is huge. And now because Mbenga murked this dude, her daughter missed the opportunity, so she's coming to look for him because she wants to bring honor back to her house, right? This is huge in the Klingon world, right? So in this episode, we see them kind of try to figure it out. Okay, so Mbenga battles in this duel to the death or whatever, so they can somehow avenge and make the honor right. He has the opportunity to murk her, and he does not do it. So she feels like she's shamed for her life, bro. She has been dishonored, right? And she, and then Mbenga's like, bro, he's like, I'm not pulling that beast out today. Now, additionally, Mbenga says, bro, I got this beast inside me. And when it's time to unlock him, I'm going to go ahead and unlock him and let him out. I'm a passive doctor now. I'm chilling. But some moment in time, I'm going to have to bring this beast out. Now, with that, I can relate to. Now, I'm not some crazy soldier out here, murdering people. I'm not doing that. But there are some moments in our life we kind of got to pull that monster beast out to achieve certain things. Not talking about working out or just trying to achieve certain things in life, where you just got to pull that out. You got to suck it up, and you got to be super powerful and strong, which is not applicable in all situations. Sometimes you got to kind of keep it locked in and hidden. When it's time to go ahead and do some real work or do something very, very hard, you pull that out. And then Mbenga's basically said, he's like, bro, I'm a doctor now, chill. But sometimes I might have to pull that out just to go hard, bro. And I think we all could use that. Now, there's some philosophers and medical professionals and psychologists that say that basically you want to be a very lethal human being. And there's nothing wrong with that, but being lethal, you have to ring that in and hold that back. I think there's a quote that says, better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war or something like that. So basically you have the power and the strength and the lethality of being a very formidable human being. And if you have to pull that out, you can. But, you don't have to. You just kind of leave it subdued because you don't need it. But if stuff goes down, you're ready to go to war, bro. Like that's the mentality. And that's how Mbenga is operated. And a lot of people I follow and books I've read and people on YouTube, people on social media are of this mindset. I follow a lot of Buddhist monks and warriors and soldiers and business people and various walks of life. And a lot of them think like this, right? A lot of people say, be hard to kill, right? A lot of people say that. Some people think, bro, that's messed up. It really is not. The world can be difficult. And to have that warrior ethos mentality, you can pull it out if you need to. I think it's a time. And I feel that's just kind of our daily habits will create that. So Dr. Mbenga possesses that. Now in this episode, he brings it out when he battles the Klingon lady and he defeats her. But in that moment, he chooses not to murk her because he's like, this is not time for that. It's not necessary. So he did that. And in that moment, she felt so dishonored. Now in this time, Pike and Mbenga are stuck on a planet with these zombies all around them. And their shields are, up, but the shield's about to fail. So the Klingon says, bro, I'm already messed up, bro. I'm going out with honor, the soldier. I'm going to fight these guys off, and you guys just bounce out. And then the doctor's like, he's like, Stobokor welcomes her. And if you don't know the Klingon lore, Stobokor is where like they go after death. I think if you had honorable death, you go to Stobokor, right? So if you die honorably, you go to Stobokor. So he's like, bro, have a good trip to Stobokor. And so so I think Pike says like, no one's going to know what happened. But then Mbenga's like, I know what's happening. She knows what's happening. That's all that matters. So she'll go to Stobokor. Now, one last thing. She chose to go out like a soldier, bro. And when I seen that scene, she's like, bro, I'm dishonored. This effort, we going out. I'm dying. I don't even care. Let's just do this. Like a warrior, like a samurai is so dope. But ladies and gentlemen, I highly recommend you do not do that in real life. But in fictional world, it's kind of cool. And it's honorable and noble. And I've always admired that. So anyways, the Klingon lady went on her sword. She battled zombies till death. And Mbenga and Pike got away. And then happy ever after. Now, there's definitely more to unpack in the story. There's a story about Captain Pike's lady, who's going to go ahead and fuse her DNA with a Gorn, which is a whole nother thing I get into, but I go for like another 20 minutes. This show is absolutely fantastic. I love it. It's great. Star Trek is great. And I also saw over the weekend, Comic-Con was going down, Starfleet Academy's coming out, a lot of Star Trek news. I haven't had a chance to sit down and really look at it, but big things are happening, bro. Trek is back. We're here. It's my most favorite franchise in the world. I love it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Now, one last thing. I want to give some podcast updates right now. Now, if you've been following this podcast for a long time, for a long, long time, you know there's a moment in time when I did one a week. I do it on Sunday. And then when the COVID happened and the pandemic happened, I went ahead and amped them up. I was doing 2 week, 3 week. I said I was going to do it during the pandemic, which I did do. The pandemic did end. I just kept doing it. Now, due to recent changes in my life, and these are not negative, these are positive, but I just don't have the time I used to have to do 2 weeks. So, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and go back to one podcast a week instead of two. So be on Sundays, regular time like they normally have. And we're going to cut the Wednesday out. Now, we may go back to them in the future, but right now, that's what I need to do. Because there's a lot happening for me outside of this creative space I got to take care of and enjoy. Life is changing for me in really good ways. And so I want to make sure I dedicate time to that. So for now, we go back to one a week like we originally did. And we might revisit two, who knows. And additionally, we at Existing Fiction do have another podcast that is dropping. It just dropped yesterday, which is the Learning Lyrics podcast with the Flamingo Man and Lady Rose. And that's another podcast in addition to the Existing Fiction brand. So if you're looking for something else to listen at that podcast, to go ahead and break down lyrics to songs that you might have heard. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not over. We're still doing this thing. Existing Fiction had another podcast on the horizon. We got new artists coming out. We are expanding. I don't know if you've heard or seen social media. The EIF family is expanding. We're growing, we're getting bigger. We're spreading the creativity across the globe, all communities. And we welcome you guys who've been with us for a while. So ladies and gentlemen, this is not over. We're going back to one a week. And we're still going to talk about movies, TV, sports, and flicks. And the lessons we can learn and expand minds. It's going to happen. And I will still talk about Star Trek because I love Star Trek. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining me. And until next time, we'll see. All my possessions for a moment of time. Queen Elizabeth I. Till next time, it's Captain Peace.
The Captain Talks.